Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 4 of our 4th Age Total War Elven Realm campaign, and in this one we're starting things off with a bang. We have Ornendil of Carn Doom. This is the commander of 2 full units of hill trolls and a few other things, attacking us outside Carn Doom, his settlement apparently, and inside the garrison is fairly large with a good mix of Mannish and Orcish troops, especially these Orcish champions. But they've also got some Uruk guard, they've got some Uruk swords. So this will be an interesting mix. The balance of power bar shows things to be about even for once, and so we may find that Glorfindel is under a little bit of pressure in this battle, which would be an interesting change of pace. My hope here is just to wipe out these armies. I don't particularly want the city. If I can take it, I'd really like to gift it to some other faction. But I would like to eliminate the forces in the area and then proceed to some of the other settlements, the orc holds in the mountains, to really hurt Adunabar's options at training more of these orc troops. So we'll get set up here. We're being attacked from the back, and then we're also having the settlement garrison show up as reinforcements. There's the city over there. So we want to be somewhere out of the way, I guess, so that we can turn and address both of these threats. We don't have, too much in terms of numbers, but I think we can do a tremendous amount of work with Glorfindel. So we'll see how that all goes. There's the trolls over there. Here is the city army, and I think I'm just going to head over and we're just going to start routing these guys as quickly as we can. No point in waiting for them to gather together. So here it looks like we've got the Grim Spears and the Orc Band. This is a lesser Orc group. They've got kind of spears, but they're not particularly effective. Even against cavalry, really. And then some Orc Raiders, just basic Orc fodder. But the more dangerous stuff is back here. These Royal Longbowmen of Adunabar, the Bodyguard. These Orc Archers are notable. Orc Hunters, I think, is the name. They are spear-armed in addition to having bows. So they're a little more of a threat. Let's get over here, and we want to, I guess, charge right into the Grim Spears. With our Noldor Riders. They did brace a little bit for that charge, but, I mean, look at that. We got him down. We got him down very, very considerably already. The Orc Band is moving in quick, and again, they've got these sort of halberd-looking weapons. There go the Grim Spears. So we've taken out that portion. Looks like all these units are sort of gathering together, and then they'll head up the hill towards us. We'll see if we can get this all rolled up. Honestly, the biggest concern is those hill trolls for a couple of reasons. One, the model we use in the mod, and some of you know this, is susceptible to causing some crashes. So that's why I'm really kind of deliberately not looking too closely at those trolls. If you keep them off screen, at least in my setup, it seems to work a little bit better. But we'll see how it goes. And then, of course, if we win the battle, again, the question is, are we going to get the settlement of Carn Doom, and what does that mean? I know that inside the city, Adunabar has built Outland Dominion, so that'll at least give us something. Alright, we're warmed up, our Noldor Riders are. So we may as well go and keep hitting these guys. I think I want to go right for the Royal Longbowmen, actually. There's nothing too threatening around there, and it looks like we might be able to get away with taking care of this very dangerous unit. But our mercenary bowmen are already firing. That's very good news. I kind of forgot that they existed there. I think we want to keep them in that position. It'll be pretty safe for them. And really the goal is to save our lighter troops, because we don't want to take losses. The best way to do that as playing as the elves is actually somewhat counterintuitively use melee more than ranged. I mean, usually when you want to minimize casualties in a game like this, you want to use your archers, right? Those are the ones that you can typically engage with the least amount of risk. But in this type of situation where your melee units are so good and so strong and so defensively oriented, essentially, you can really stand to just rely on them for the vast majority of your needs. You can keep your lighter troops, your archers, even your lighter sort of cav like the Elven Riders, keep those guys back and a little bit safe. I definitely want to keep my Mannish mercenaries because these guys will be easier to replenish. Okay, with that, Glorfindel is now tired. I'm going to just move him up here, and we're going to take a little bit of a rest. Now, he's probably the best choice to send after the trolls, actually. So maybe I want to move him over here to kind of face them. Let's do that. He's tired, but these guys are going to be much more tired. And I guess we'll go for a sort of spread out formation to maximize. Let's go right after the general. If we can get this that unit routed, that'll save us a lot of trouble. Well, that's one general. We've actually got two to worry about here. Let's turn then. I guess we can send these light Manish Cav after those units. What do we got here? Grim Spears. We got caught by Glorfindel. I'm not too concerned. If all these units rush at him, that could be a problem, but I think we'll be okay. We managed to chase the Orc Raiders away. Engaging with some Orc Hunters. Again, not much of a threat here. And some Grim Spears. We've already seen those guys taken out. One issue is these cultists. They're chanting right now, and so they've got a morale effect, raising the morale of the nearby units. So the other thing we've got to watch is that we have Noldor swords here that, of course, are a very strong unit, but they can theoretically take losses, especially with trolls. So we maybe want to shield these guys because they are not replaceable. Once the unit is destroyed, if the unit is destroyed, they can never be brought back. And we already know Glorfindel is kind of living on borrowed time, so really interesting to see how the AI is holding back. They're really throwing in the fodder units first. Alright, so maybe I want to send the Elven Riders down here. Actually, the Lindon Guards. Let's do that. We'll get the spear kind of units. Get our Manish Cav up and away. And Elven Riders, although they are kind of a light Cav unit, are going to do really well.
The enemy general is running away.
Great. If we could keep on him, eliminate that that family member, that'd be nice. All right, looks like some archers are targeting my Lindon Guard, but those are just Snaga Hunters, so just a very, very minor unit. I'm going to let the family member go. We're just going to get back out of here because I want to keep my army kind of together. Again, if I don't take Karn Doom in this battle, it's not that big of a deal to me. Alright, Uruk swords. Let's take them out with our light cav as well. And you know what? Let's go for these cultists with Glorfindel. Trolls look like they're moving in. There's an orc band. Alright, if we could wipe out these cultists, let's move to a better position. Trolls are coming in. Let's get out of the way. Come on, come on. They're a fast unit is the problem. Yep, see how we're taking losses. Oh gosh. Okay, okay. Let's send him down after those trolls. Elven Retainers go after the Adunabar Nobles. Let's set the Lindon Guard after these trolls. Glorfindel down to 29 men. Alright, let's pull out. We want to get chargers going, I guess. Oh my gosh. Very, very stressful. Lindon Guard down to 30. Alright. Alright, that general's running away. Good. Again, we can just keep him running. Trolls are not routing, but we're doing well. Oh no! Glorfindel is gone. Glorfindel has fallen. Okay, we gotta just save the Noldor swords, and we gotta use and abuse Glorfindel's Noldor riders. Say goodbye to them, folks. They're down for the count. They're going off into the west. Oh, this is so sad. Well, we knew it was going to happen at some point. Let's get the Mariners down here. Noldor swords are going to do just fine. Actually, I shouldn't waste these guys, but actually that was the impetus we needed, the charge we needed. Noldor swords. Where's Glorfindel? Let's go over here. Do we have any trolls left? I don't think we do. I think the trolls are all gone. Ugh. Absolute hero, Glorfindel. What's this? All right, we got an orc band. Let's pull out. We don't need our riders taking losses there. Go after the Snaga Hunters. They're wavering. Royal Longbowmen. All right. That would be a good target for, well, for, I guess, Glorfindel. Yep. Or his last remnants of bodyguard here. This is the last important work they're going to do in the campaign, going after these Royal Longbowmen and clearing them off the field. Yeah, Elven Riders are doing okay. Orc Band is now routing, but they took some losses here, or one. Maybe a couple more. Looks like they also fought some Cav while I wasn't looking. So they've done very well. Elven Riders do quite well. We'll, of course, continue the battle. I don't think our Noldor swords took any losses, which is great. This is a unit that is not going to auto-replenish. And, in fact, we can't retrain any of these guys until we take back Rivendell, which just suddenly became quite the priority. So we'll go and chase down all of these units that we can. But Glorfindel fell fighting hill trolls outside Carn Dûm. It's a pretty epic conclusion for him, I guess. But you're always sad to see him go. Yes, a clear victory with about 50 losses total. And I'm noticing now that this is not really from the Manish units. This is primarily from this unit right here. We lost a ton of the Lindon Guard and, of course, Glorfindel's men. So that is just going to be a very difficult loss to bear. So with Glorfindel's death, the game has decided to have another elf step up and take over the reins, not necessarily of that particular army, but just to sort of fill out the numbers. And I think I'm going to take this guy. We talked in the last episode about how I'm particularly on the lookout for a Naldo or Cinda who can lead and rebuild Ostinethil. This guy is not that, but he is very good. He is a Nando, and that's the issue. So he's not going to be able to lead in the same way, but he is energetic, intelligent, charismatic, a wary fighter. Unfortunately, though, he's not going to appear in Three Ways, which is our capital. I had hoped he would, but because he's coming under the auspices of Thranduil, the Elven King, he's going to appear in a settlement with him, which is all the way over the Misty Mountains in Andlang. That's unfortunate. We're going to have to get him over there at some point, or just live with the fact that we've got a lot of commanders in this part of the world. But let's take a look back up in the north first. But I am noticing now that Tardal is not well staffed, and so it could be that a lot of those units have headed north. They're certainly not going towards Lastbridge, which is good. So they're probably going to try to stop me from taking Carn Dûm. That's fine. I'll just go ahead and take it this episode. We'll do that off camera. I'll just use my family member who's now leading the army, Ferion of Mithlond. And he's a Cinda, so we don't know how long we've got with him, but he, like all the elves, is going to, at some point, feel the calling of the sea. So, we're sort of living on borrowed time. At any rate, we're going to take Carn Dûm. I'll just do that off camera, and then we'll just trash the place. But it looks like we'll be having to deal with some of these armies heading north. Again, that's kind of good. We'll get rid of them as much as we can and make things a little easier for ourselves. Yes, a heroic death. Glorfindel of Imladris died in battle in Angmar. This noble elven lord has been killed. A true hero of our people has been lost to us. Glory and honor have a high price indeed. Never truer than when we're referring to Glorfindel. But the other unfortunate news, of course, is Three Ways' siege. All we have inside here is a unit of Elvelyn Watch. That is the very lowest level spearmen. This is a Manish unit, of course. and I don't like their odds holding against a single unit of Mariner Swordsmen, so we're going to have to pull over some units to deal with that. I think we'll take the Mariners. They're probably going to do just fine by themselves, and we'll take this unit of Eriador Rider Mercs. We'll move them off through the trees and just hit that army. Not this season, but the next one. We may get attacked inside Tharbad next turn by some of these units. I'm really not too concerned about that, but it really does bring home the fact that we need to get some more units around here. So I think we're going to start some training over in Mithlond. We are moving these Elvelen Watch over to the empty settlements of Forlond and Harlond just as a kind of insurance. But in Mithlond, yeah, let's go with a unit of Mariners. We've seen them do very well in battle, so I'll queue up one of these. We've got some nice discounts, it looks like, in the recruitment cost. Only take a single turn to train, and we've got, you know, the population to train, I guess, 2 of them. But let's go one at a time here. We did actually get a unit of Elvelen Hunters as well. So if I go over here, start the battle with this unit, I wonder, are we close enough to show up as reinforcements? Yes, they are. All right, so let's see what this one looks like on the battle map. So a very neat touch. I rarely play with elven armies that don't have like a family member leading them, but it's cool to see that the captain model is an elf. So these Elvelen, these are all men, of course, but they're being led by an elf. So here we've got our Elvelen Hunters. They are javelins, and so we're just going to put them up kind of close here, start the battle, and we'll be able to keep away from these Mariners. They, of course, have javelins too. And where's our elves? All right, coming from over there. So we'll move in this direction. They should be pretty quick to arrive. And over there's the Elvelen Watch. I don't think we're going to bother bringing them over here. I guess we can march them in the general direction of the hill. And it looks like they got the memo that they're surrounded and there are elves on the way. So let's make these guys run. We don't want to let them get away. Mariner Swordsmen are a pretty dangerous unit, and I don't think Tharbad can train any more of these guys. It depends on how they've built up their other starting settlements. But you can see we've got a very fast unit here. We're definitely going to catch them. And since they're running, they don't have time to draw their javelins. Hopefully they won't... Yeah, they will. You can tell they're reloading. There they go. Here come the spears. They're getting in a throw. We lost 3 elves to that. But because a lot of that is missile fire, I think the game is going to let us heal some of those. So we'll get our cap turned around. And I think I will go in with a charge here. Pull back. Yeah, they did another javelin throw in melee there. It makes these units so dangerous. But there goes the captain. And we'll get them to rout here. Hey, we have a proven commander. I very rarely see this. Fantastic news. Okay, so he's not the best. He's competent at governing and commanding. He is a Cinda. Energetic, intelligent, charismatic. All right, we need a couple more traits to see if he's going to be okay to run Ostenethel. If he's going to be the man for the job. Let's see. Supportive, casual fighter, unlearned. No, that's not going to do it. Well, we have to take a proven commander, right? 1, we need the men. 2, we really just need other family members here because we've only got 1 in Tharbad. We've got 1 up here, Ferion of Mithlond, and otherwise we've got a governor in Mithlond itself. That's it. Just 3 family members west of the Misty Mountains. So, yeah, and now we've got 4. So very nice. I guess the captain who led this army did a good job. We did lose quite a few mariners, unfortunately, but I don't know that it's yet worth the trek all the way back to Mithlond. 15 mariners can still be very effective. So this is our new field commander. We're going to keep him with the army and probably give him some of these, some of these troops. Probably the unit of elven bows and any other mercenaries we get, as well as the new units we're bringing back from the west. We may even combine him with this governor here to stay out in the field. But we definitely probably want an elven retainer to try to hold the Tharbad region and another to push into the east so we can take Ostenethel and then move up to take Rivendell. But yes, time for some vengeance. Time for us to assault Karn Doom. Again, we're just going to do this off camera. And we've taken Karn Doom. So we will definitely lay desolate. This is just full of evil men of Angmar. We will lower the taxes, I guess, just because it's a habit. And I'm noticing it's the year 367 in the 4th Age, and the campaign starts in, I believe, 356, which means we had Glorfindel for 10 years, 20 turns. That's okay. That's okay. We could have held on for a little bit longer. But he did some good work for us, took out those couple of units of trolls, essentially, as well as some high-priority targets of Adunabar, as well as tearing through several settlements. So we'll take care of this Outland Dominion. There's nothing else here that we can destroy, but I would be very, very interested to give this to another faction. So let's see if we have an emissary in the area. Okay. Watchtower of Amon-Sul, Reunited Kingdom. Eridan, buddy, would you please take Karn Doom off my hands? Karn Doom, 4,000 Mirian. That's got to be a good deal. Just no. Okay. They don't want it. It's a terrible place. It's a terrible place. It's very unhappy. It's Ways of Darkness, actually. It's not even Shadow Cult. It's just barbarians up there or something. So what can we do about Karn Doom? Well, if I leave, they can just fill it back up again. And the problem with that is they can make some decent use of this. They can get up to a decent level of military development. It'll be men, but it'll be some troops. So here's the thing I think maybe that we ought to do. I could leave behind one of these mercs, right? And maybe the unit to leave behind would be the Cav. We've got a very good cavalry unit in these Elven Riders. I really want the Mercenary of Bowmen to serve as a garrison at some point. They can do, I think they're a little more useful. They're certainly cheaper than these Ariador Rider Mercs. So we'll leave the cavalry in there, and we'll hope that the place will rebel. In the meantime, we'll take these guys out of the city, and we want to move them into this direction because there are several settlements here that I would love to destroy. I see it as my duty to destroy in a way. And hey, we get some more mercs anyway. As for our new adoptee, I think we may want to move him somewhere he'll be a little more useful. Now, a lot of this depends on what the Bjornings are going to do, but I think for now, the bigger concern is in the south. The Bjornings haven't attacked us yet. If they do, it'll most likely be at Andlang. But we've got a couple of vulnerable settlements down here. Fairfield is one, of course, no walls yet. Amonlak is another. We don't have any elven bodyguards in there, just these threshold troops. And so we can already see some units of Adunabar clustering in the region. It'd be good to have another family member up there. But we can build at Fairfeld. We could go for sentinel posts, and I think that's the move we have to make. Not a great surprise. Tharbad has besieged us at Tharbad yet again. I'm really not worried about this at all. There's no family member in this army. It's all low-tier stuff. We've got a Elven Retainers unit as well as Elven Bows, and we should be all right. So we'll just leave that for now. If they want to assault, that's fine. Got some interesting stuff happening over in the east, though. We've got North Rune allying with Rovanian and cease firing, therefore, with Dorwinian. So hard to see how that's going to develop. We do have our Mariners in Mithlond. So let's get them sent over immediately. We'll move them down south. And we're moving these Elvelen units up into the west. And I think another Mariners unit would probably be the best use of our population here. We've only got 62 elves really to work with. So we'll go there, and then it'll have to be a few turns before we can get another unit. But I think we want the sort of heavy-armed melee guys to deal with what we're facing down in the south. With our new commander, our man of the hour, let's move him down as well. If we get down here, we can actually attack this besieging army. That might be a decent use of his time. Let's see, can I actually get there? And we can attack this army right here. Now, we are attacking across a bridge, but that's not at all a problem for me. So we'll just make sure that we control both of these armies, and then we'll push them back. So the AI has chosen to set up far from the bridge, oddly, so we're just racing across with our bodyguard. I don't really want to get the other units involved, even those mariners. There's only 15 in the unit at the moment. We're going to save them for when they're really needed. I think we can deal with this just with our bodyguards. We've got our reinforcement bodyguards coming as well from the city. And one thing you don't often see if you don't use these units as more than one in a battle is that the Elven Retainers actually can do a shield wall formation. They do have that ability. It's just that when they're the bodyguard, like this guy, when he's the general of the army, that special ability is taken over by the rallying the troops button. That is a little unfortunate. That's, I guess, one advantage to the later games is they sorted this out so that generals could do more than just one thing. Like as we saw in Rome Total War, if a general has the siege tower, for example, he can't drop it because it's just the rally button. But in the later games, there's a bit more flexibility with the abilities there. And it doesn't look like we have any ranged units among the enemy. It's just these Tharbad militia. They've got one unit of Axemen of Tharbad, and you can see that they're just kind of trying to desperately avoid these very nice-looking Elven Retainers, very sharp-looking dudes. And so let's bring the other bodyguard down. He's just crossed the bridge, and we'll push these punks into the river. Well, indeed, we've taken out the enemy captain, and all these Tharbad militia, even the Axemen, proved really no challenge for our bodyguard units, accompanied by our cavalry there just to chase down the routers. So we'll chase down these last fleeing cowards of Tharbad and then see you back on the campaign map. So now that we've sort of cleared that part of the bridge, I'm wondering if it's worth pressing on. We are running into a bit of zone of control down here. We've got the Southguard fort. That is, meaning we can't just go around it and get up to Swanfleet, which I would like to do. On the other hand, this is a good fort to get. It means that the AI is most likely to attack this rather than Tharbad. So even if we don't have anything further south than this, that'll sort of tie them up or at least slow them down. But I think I'll stay at the bridge just for the moment. We'll see if this guy wants to turn around and deal with us. If not, we will start heading in this direction to the east. So the other reason Three Ways is a great grab is because it's just already built up much more than some of the other settlements around. Sarnford, for example, is only at the rural province level, which means that all we can get is that first level of the sentinel posts. But at Three Ways, we can already go for mustering fields. That'll open up a new unit for us, which would be the Elven Wardens. So this is a sword and shield unit. Quite a bit higher defense than what we've seen so far. Yeah, defense only in the mid-teens for these two units, but 23 for the Elven Wardens. So this would be a good unit to go for, not terribly expensive in terms of the upkeep either. But let's keep moving in the north here. We're going to find some Orcish settlements right up. Here we go. Yes, indeed. So this is Mount Graham, and actually, I'm very happy to see that this is not taken by Adunabar yet. Mount Graham is still held by rebels. Well, that's good. You guys keep holding Mount Graham. I'm going to move over into the east because I think there's another fort over here or another orc hold that Adunabar may have gotten to. Okay, but now I do see an opportunity. Just south of the bridge over Tharbad, we have a couple of armies, very small and again very similar to what we've seen before. This one, though, has a family member, and it would be nice to get rid of him. It looks like he's just come of age or just been trained perhaps somewhere else. And inside the fort, we've got a couple of, Tharbad militia with an archer unit. So I think what we can do here is, if it will allow it, we'll take these elven bows out of the city, move him up with the army. No unrest in this settlement. Very good. We'll keep the general in there just for public order purposes. And then we'll attack one of these armies. And I think I'm going to say the one that's straight ahead of us. We'll just hit that, and here we go. So the balance of power bar does not like it, but I don't really believe this thing because I think we'll do just fine with our new man of the hour. This is the guy who, from a humble captain of Elven hunters, elevated to the attention of the Elven King and got his own command of Elven Retainers. And so he's going to be taking on these fairly substantial forces. And if we get rid of these guys, I think we'll have the bulk of Tharbad's armies, at least south of the Gwathlo River. Over here, though, there was a much larger force that I saw earlier. So that is certainly going to come back in some way, and it may attack three ways. It may attack Tharbad itself or the Northgard Fort. But I think in the next episode, we're going to open with this battle. We're going to hit these guys, see if we can get the fort out of it. If not, we'll at least be able to put it under siege, and then begin our push over to the east. So I hope you'll join me for that. Until the next episode, folks, take care.